Hello, everyone. Welcome to MOE'S CD Culture Show and Tell, and on the second installment of my three-part tool, I'm excited because I get to talk about my favorite album of all time, right from 2001 when it first came out on May 15th. It I still remember exactly where I was, what I was doing, how I listened to it for the first time. I didn't want to have any samples or hearing anything from it until I was at home in like lights off, headphones on, or I believe it was just two big speakers next to ear, and it had to be in that stereo sound. I laid back, closed my eyes, and I turned it on for that first time, and it's just an experience that I will, I call it chasing the dragon for this for this album, Lateralis, the greatest album that ever existed for Tool. This is my ah, I'm. This is the only album on this planet, okay, that I can actually say I'm sort of obsessive about. I'm obsessed with this album. It's the perfect album. It like for years, even with the previous albums I did in my last episode, I would say that it's like Maynard was reading my mind, was like scanning my brainwaves and taking everything that's important, everything that I thought was the coolest, everything that that is just amazing stuff, amazing. Like, how does he know? Like, how is he reading me so well? That's the magic of Maynard. James Keenan, the singer of Tool. His lyrics are so universal in such that's why there's so many Tool fans now. And that's why we are the way we are. Like I said, I am obsessed with this album. This album is like when you open it up, when I first saw that, like, now, okay, I'm going to tell you a little story about this album. This is amazing for me because I I was walking, okay, it was early May. I was walking down St. Catherine Street up in Montreal with a friend of mine, John McIntyre, okay? And I stopped talking for like I saw it so far in the distance ahead of me. It would have been no bigger in my peripheral vision. It would have been no bigger than a dot basically on the horizon right down the street. There was a poster, and as I'm getting closer to the poster, okay, it all I could basically see was that image on a poster. Not even that. Basically, it was that. Just sorry. It was just that part. Okay, just this part. The second page only. It was just the second page only, like that, with a black background. And I don't know how. I don't know what signals it was sending to me. Somehow, I knew. It was Tool. I was just so ecstatic, excited. I knew it was Tool. I knew it. Like, if I felt it in my bones. And I remember his reaction to it too, because I was there. I was like, you don't see that in the distance. Like I'm seeing something that, like, I swear, it's like when you play the first Ghost Recon, how the enemy was just like tiny little dots, but you knew that was an enemy and you could just pinpoint it. I could see it. Like, it's so mind-blowing. Because as I'm getting closer and closer and being more and more and more and more validated, like, it's the new Tool album. And remember, at the time, after Anima, it took a good 5 years for this to come out. Anima was, what, 96? So, 2001, If a good friggin' 5 years for this to come out. It, like, finally, finally, every track, of course, my favorite track is Parabola. Like, part one and, like, Parabola and Parabola. The whole thing. So, that was amazing. To me, that is just outstanding. The greatest album that ever existed. I don't care what anybody said. So when I first started watching the Trash Talkers Rappers React YouTube channel, they were doing Tool reactions right off the bat. That's what got me into watching Barry Bynes and Larry Cowan. Every day, I watch them every day. I watch every video they do. I love those guys. You know, they're the coolest, and I'll give them a shout out anytime. They're the only channel I Patreon. I don't Patreon any other channel. So I actually, first of all, I sent them a drawing, a really cool drawing of my own thing of a skull. And now anytime you watch rappers react, any rappers react to, Trash Talkers, you'll see my drawing in the background, and it just tickles me. I just love that. And then when I sent them that, I also sent them my first copy. Well, I had sent them my copy that I had of Lateralis. So for a while, I didn't have it after I sent them that, and that was like a year ago, just a little over a year ago, or almost 2 years now. I was going on 2 years now since I sent them that drawing. And I mean to send them some other artwork, but I haven't had a chance to really get into the artwork. I want to kind of focus on doing these videos for the moment. Well, I can just gush about this CD for hours and hours. But again, I have a little bit more to talk about. This is going to be a little bit of a longer episode than the last few. So I'm including these in with the CD cultures. These are actually the DVD videos of Schism and Parabola. Now, these were, at the time when I bought them, they were about almost like what was it, like $7-8. It's just one video each. One video with a little bit of extras. There's what they have something they call a dual audio track, which is kind of bizarre. You have one audio track in one ear, and at the same time have a second audio track like commentary in the other ear. It's cool. And they also have two extra different, like, more moody versions of these tracks. But again, Lateralis, Parabola. This is my favorite video. Favorite song of Tool. It's my favorite song of Tool. It's been my favorite song of Tool forever. And again, mainly because of the deep, spiritual, philosophical, amazing message that it holds. This album, like, again, Lateralis is the album that just speaks to me. Obsession. I have an obsession over it. They're like, and eventually, maybe in a future video, I'm going to talk more about that. My obsession with Parabola and Lateralis. Well, even the song Lateralis too is my second favorite song in the album. Sometimes it might even be tie Lateralis and Parabola as the two favorite songs on this album. And not to take away from Schisms. Schisms, again, a powerful message that people should be, getting into their heads and their hearts. So that's that for now. So now we're going to go into the next album on the list, which is 10,000 Days. And if you don't know, when you first see this cover, and honestly, when I bought this in Montreal, when this first came out, that day, the premiere, I bought it the day it dropped, right in the store. I was there, like to buy it. It was number one in Canada, like specifically for that day, for that release. It was a number one release for this album. The packaging, it won. I'm pretty sure their packaging won Grammys. So this is a 3D viewer. You take the, you have your left eye, your right eye. You got to keep it parallel. Try to keep it as parallel as possible. Don't force it. Just kind of look through it like you're looking through a normal pair of glasses, and kind of let it come into focus, and it will be a 3D image. It's a 3D image, and and that's from where that poster came from. So I'm also going to talk about the two concerts I went to go see up in Montreal. I went to go see the concert in Montreal for this tour, and I went to go see the concert in Montreal for this tour. I lived in Montreal for 10 and a half years. Magically, when the time came that Tool was coming to Montreal, I had the money. The money was just suddenly dropped into my lap. Basically, it didn't. Well, not the first time. The first time I had to borrow, but I was able to borrow the money and be able to pay it back in no time. Yeah. So that's where I bought this. This poster was $10 when I bought that. This is like the 2006, 2007 when I bought this, when they played Montreal. That was the only thing I was able to take. I wish I would have been able to afford a shirt or something, but that's what I got. Well, anyway, but I got this Vicarious shirt I'm still wearing. I decided I wanted to do these videos back to back rather than, I was thinking about waiting for a bit before putting out the next episode. I was going to do a couple other different artists first before I ended up doing the second Tool video. But no, I want to put them back to back to back because they're just too special, and I know people want to see this. So, also, as a companion for this, and again, I'm including it with the set because it's the same size as a CD. Same thing with the Parabola and the Schism. But this is the video. This is the DVD video for this, for Vicarious. It's great. Again, it has a commentary by, I'm pretty sure it's David Cross doing the commentary. It has a behind the scenes documentary. It's actually again a wonderful thing to have if you love Tool, which I do. So yeah, and again, I think that was around $10 or maybe a little, about almost around $10 to buy it at the time when this first came out. All bought in, but I had bought these when I was in Montreal, but I'm pretty sure I rebought everything again when I came back to Moncton. So these are all still pretty newish. I know I just recently, especially the Lateralis, I bought this within the last year, or at least a year. So I have one final CD to talk about for this second part, and it's an electric acoustic tribute to Tool. Has some singing in it. It has the first track. It was just kind of ominous, kind of almost like just basically a mood intro. It has 46 and 2, but it's nothing at all like the 46 and 2 that you know. It has there's Cold and Ugly, which is sung, and there's a Jimmy here, which is Jimmy, but it's more instrumental. Yeah, it's an instrumental. Then Prison Sex is being sung. Then there's H, which is again they made it into an instrumental, which is great. And then there's Crawl Away, Stinkfist, Sober, Parabola, and Parable. And it's a wonderful job. They did a great job on that. Yeah, and it's from Calvin Records. Oh, and also in the previous episode, I showed you the string quartet tribute to Anima. Well, that is done by Vitamin Records. And why I bring that up is a CD I wish I had, but which I don't have, and eventually, hopefully, I'll get it one day, would be the Vitamin Records string quartet version of a tribute to Lateralis. They have that out, but I don't have that on CD. I know it's available somewhere, somehow, and one day I will try to get it. But for a moment, I have this, and I have the string quartet. So I'm going to conclude this with the end of the video. So stay tuned for the next video where I go through the rest of the tool collection, and you'll see why I broke this up in these groups. So again, take care, be safe, everyone. See you on the flip side, and have a great night or day or afternoon wherever you are.